Hi, I'm Bob Tapper, and I spent over 25 years in corporate real estate in California until I decided it was time for something completely different. Now I live in Portugal, and this podcast is here to help you do the same, covering everything from visas, housing, and insurance to culture and community, what day-to-day life is really like here. And through it all, one thing has always remained true. It's never too late, you're never too old. Be courageous and honor your passions. Welcome to Life Abroad in Portugal. Hey everyone, welcome back to Life Abroad in Portugal. And today's guests are Meredith and Mark Burns, fellow expats, Portugal travel consultants, and the voices behind Portugal Junkies podcast and a YouTube channel. And I know you guys have a Substack as well. We'll get into all that. They left Charlotte, North Carolina in 2023 and have been documenting their journey from planning and paperwork to actually living here and helping others do the same. Can't wait to hear the story. So Mark and Meredith, welcome.
Hello, and thank you.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be with you, Bob.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. So let's go back just a bit. Can you tell me what inspired you to leave the U.S. and make Portugal your home?
You want to take that?
You take that. You kind of lead on it.
If you listen to any or tune into any of our content at any time, it's very clear that we are now very, very happy that we left when we did. It was prior to the election, though, so I can't say that it was because of that. It was more so we were both in corporate jobs that were sucking our souls dry, and I'm 46, he's 54, we don't have children, and we're like, why are we sitting here in these corporate jobs in suburbia? And like, why are we doing that when there's this whole world out there? And so obviously, when you hear my husband speak, he's from England.
If I get a word in.
I detected a little accent there.
Right. So he's already made that jump across the ocean, and then we met, right? And so when we met, I think that travel and just being inspired by him and his travels, it really became part of our relationship and our life and what we wanted. So it just kind of fell into place that way, I think, where it was like, yeah, we built the house and yeah, we have these nice jobs, but what does that get you long term? And like, what do you really want out of life? And I think we were like, we got to go.
I think I didn't want to race toward, conventional retirement age and think, now what do? I've got one duff knee, a bad hip, and I want to go, on long walks in places. And
I can't.
And I can't. So how do we flip that and make it work for us? I mean, again, everybody's situation is different. We were fortunate from a financial perspective. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but we were very fortunate in that regard. So it was a case of take the bull by the horns and get on with it.
Go with it. So had you visited Portugal before, or why did you choose Portugal?
I'll answer that one. It was a funny, it came about on the basis that when my mum was over visiting in Charlotte, and we were going from Charlotte up to see your parents up at the lake. And we were just chit-chatting about, okay, this is something that we're looking to do. But where? And Mum said, well, why don't you just look up 5 of the top destinations to retire in? And so we're in the car and Meredith's on the phone looking it up. And it turned either Costa Rica or Portugal. But Costa Rica we kind of scrubbed because it was so
way too hot for me.
Way too hot. Portugal came up, and then probably a month and a half later, we were in Porto. It was a case of
we visited.
Got to jump on this.
Yeah, okay. So 6 weeks after we kind of were enticed by Portugal based on our research, we showed up and spent 10 days?
Yep.
And we did mainly Porto, Aveiro, Lisbon, that area and north, because we were loving Porto at the time, and we still do.
Yeah. Porto is definitely a place in our heart for sure.
Yeah. She's a vibe, I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it here so much. So, okay, then you get back to the U.S. and you decide, okay, we're going to move to Portugal. What was the first step?
So that was August of 2022. It took us a good 8-9 months to really be like, we're going to do this. I call it the roller coaster
Yeah. We went
of
through
the yes or no.
Yeah.
Because, your fear gets in the way. Like everything that that makes you comfortable in your life. And that's what we were struggling with, even though it was sucking our soul dry. That.
Mhm.
But the change thing and taking a risk and a leap of faith and doing the non-traditional thing is very scary. And so we literally would have multiple conversations and go to bed one night going, we can't do that.
Wake
You're crazy.
Wake up in the morning with the Monday dreads of like, oh my gosh, now we're going to do this.
Now we're going to do it. Let's have another conversation. And this happened for 6 or 7, 8 months probably before one day. I think the turning point and our biggest hurdle was making sure we could get our dog here in a way that we figured out, because she's our kid, right? And she's a very small Boston Terrier, but she's snub nosed, right? And so there were certain regulations about the airlines of how you can and can't get them here. And we let that hurdle get in the way a lot, or maybe even used it as the excuse, to be honest, where it was like, that feels too complicated and too big, and we're not going to do it. And so we would revisit the conversation. And then I saw someone post in one of the Facebook forums their picture of their dogs that were bigger than ours in the carrier, in the plane with them, in the cabin. And I reached out to her and I was like, please tell me that this is not as big of a deal that I feel like it is in my heart. And she's like, I travel with them all over. I travel with them on Delta and United from here to Lisbon. I'll show you exactly the carrier, all the things. So once we got over that hurdle and believed that we could get her there the way that we had hoped, then we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Jump on the VFS website and find out a little bit about, what do you have to do?
Okay. No, well, and what we won't do for our pets. I mean,
oh my gosh. It was like, if she couldn't come, we're not going. So
yeah, exactly. So are you two on different paths then? So Mark, are you an EU citizen or?
No.
Thank Brexit for that.
Unfortunately, we have.
Oh yeah. Okay. So did you both have to go through VFS in the States?
Yes.
Okay. And did you, so you went onto the website and you made an appointment?
Yep.
Yeah. Back then it was a lot easier to get an appointment.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Were your appointments, could you make them at the same time, or did you have to go totally book them different?
We made them at the time.
It's the same one.
Yep. We made it I think we made it in May or June for the end of September.
Yeah.
So that we'd have some time to prep.
It was good actually when we got there. They would only allow, and again, things may have changed in the presentation of yourself to the person that's going through the tick box. But it was a case of only one person could be at the desk. So Meredith was presenting herself, and then she was able to represent me with my paperwork because she knew it back to front. 90% of everything that was contained in these document folders was Meredith's work. It was just.
I'm just type A sometimes.
Yeah. I was like, okay, just carry on. And they were happy to let her represent me, even though I was there just in case. But I don't know if things have changed any.
So what I'm curious about, I started my VFS process while I was here with a tourist visa. So I started the process here in Portugal, and I know part of the VFS requirements are that you need to show that you have a bank account that's open here, and your fingerprints. Those were the two biggest real hurdles. So did you have to come back? Oh, and the 1-year rental agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have to come back here to do that? Could you do all of that from the US?
We thought of doing that, of coming back and doing that. And in future, like on our podcast, when people would ask us our opinion about that, if you are traveling in Portugal and you think that you might want to start the process, open the bank account while you're here. Get your NIF while you're here. It's so much easier when you're here. But we did partner with it's sort of a relocation company. They offered a package at the time, and I honestly don't know if they're still doing that or not, but it was more of like, we will help you get your bank account, your NIF, and help you find an apartment. That was the package that we chose. Basically, they were feet on the ground to go look at some of the places that we were interested in Porto. So they worked, I guess they had contacts within certain banks to open, like you were talking about. It was like a pain to get your bank account open.
Yes.
It is. And if you don't have the right contacts, sometimes that can be challenging unless you're presenting yourself in person in Portugal.
Okay.
So that's how we worked with them. They helped us find and locate our apartment, got our NIF and our bank account. Meanwhile, we were working on all the other paperwork, passive income, because we applied using the D7 visa for both of us. And so all the other stuff that we had to gather, we were gathering from June till September when we had to go in for our appointment in person in DC, actually.
Yeah. That's where mine was as well.
I do think there's one thing when people say, in answer to questions on different Facebook forums and such like, where it's a case of you have to start a process in your country of residence. And strictly speaking, that's not true. You can start it anywhere in the world. You have to be at VFS to present yourself at the allotted time. But I think there's a miscommunication there. I think some people read it as the letter of the law. You have to be in America in order to start your process. You have to be in America in order to be at the VFS appointment.
Which is really the start, but it's not really the start because you have to do so much
preparation work that you can do from anywhere.
Yeah,
I think it's
so you hired someone to help you to do that bank account, and so then they sent you all the documents and you signed and so forth. So you had so then you had all your documents together and you went to the VFS appointment. Was there anything at the appointment that surprised you, shocked you, or did it go smoothly?
It went smoothly.
The fact that it went smoothly shocked us. We had a lot of anxiety leading up to that, and I think it's because the communities that are out there can be a blessing and a curse. Okay, and this is my opinion. The communities like the Facebook groups and things like that, they can be a wealth of information. They are also the place where people go when things go wrong, to talk about the things that have gone wrong. And sometimes I remember like all summer, like being so addicted to like, what are people's experiences, what to expect. And you're always going to hear the bad stuff.
Right.
You're going to hear when something goes awry. You're going to hear when something weird happened that nobody else has had happen. And so it does make you kind of have these like, oh my gosh, this is intense. Like, I don't know what to prepare for. I'm going to just prepare for everything. But the actual process was very simple, but we had to be organized. And that's what it comes down to when people say, well, do you suggest I get help? Or do you suggest I do it on my own? I'm like, I can't tell you that, but I can tell you if you're not an organized person, you should probably get some help.
Seek some advice.
Exactly.
The process is not difficult. It's the unknown that makes you go down a rabbit hole and worry about things.
Yep. I do think that there's a lot of misinformation and then a lot of things that just, as you said, lead you down that rabbit hole, that things of everything that could go wrong. And, my process was smooth as well. It was kind of like going to the DMV, I thought,
it's administrative.
You just sit there and they ask for the information, you give it to them, and that was it. I was out in 15 minutes.
Right. For a long time, we had two of us, so it was maybe 30, 40 minutes for us. But I think that the thing that confused us at the beginning was, you're coming from nothing. You know nothing. I don't even know who VFS is. I just know I need an appointment with them. At the time, I didn't know what CEF actually did and how does that, tie to the consulate, all the things. VFS is simply the administrative people who are collecting the paper. And then they're going to send it off. But you don't, I didn't know that at the time. So it felt like, what kind of questions are they going to ask me? And, all the things.
Yeah, they don't approve anything. They just collect the documents and give it to the embassy. So, all right. So you get through with the VFS meeting. And then, of course, they tell you, well, it's going to be 30 to 90 days. That's that big window that a lot could happen in 30 to 90 days. So you're still living in the US and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And how long did it take you to hear from them?
Go for it.
90 days on the dot.
Oh my gosh.
On the day.
And you know, it kills me. And I look back now and I'm like, that's not a big deal. 90 days is a pretty quick turnaround. But the problem is that, again, Facebook forums, these people were saying, I got mine in 30 days, 27 days. And so we were in the mindset of like, gosh, we got to be ready to go.
Yeah, and they'd have their appointment after our appointment.
Right.
So it's like, well, hang on a minute. What's happened to our paperwork?
Yeah.
Has it been lost? Has it gone somewhere? You know, and so all of those things start coming into your mind.
I'll also say too, we were in the middle of trying to, like, we're renting our house out. How do you rent your house out when you don't know what's your visa? Like, all the things. We ended up during the 90-day period waiting for our answer because we hadn't heard in 30 days. We were like, well, let's go back to Portugal and like spend a good week there in our apartment that we're paying for.
I was going to ask you about that because I know that there's usually a little overlap between your apartment rental time and when you can actually get moved in. So yeah.
So we went for a week?
Week, 10 days, something like that.
Took over 6 suitcases, moved them in the first run. We didn't do any shipping or anything because of this, because we had decided to go and enjoy our apartment and enjoy the city that we were hopefully going to be moving to while we were there. We get it that not everybody is able to do that, but if you can, it at least lets you take advantage of the thing that you are paying for.
Yep.
And get to know your new place a little bit. So
yeah,
we did.
So 90 days, you get the email from VFS. Now you have to mail them your passports.
Yes.
Which you did. How long did it take between the time you mailed the passport and you got your passport back with the stamp in it?
Well, it was a little bit convoluted because it was right over Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
And so that sort of with FedEx or UPS, it kind of just pushed it out a day or two.
I think it was about a week.
Yeah, it was no more than a week. But we were waiting more so on the dog certificate because you have to have that within a particular window of leaving.
The health certificate.
And arriving at Lisbon to present the dog. So at that point, it was less, well, it was as much pressure and worry, if you like, about the passport having the visas in, and also the USDA pet certificate coming back from them. But it worked. It worked.
They actually arrived, I think, within 24 hours of each other, and also within 24 hours of the flight we were supposed to take.
Wow.
So it all worked out. But again, that was its stressful moment.
Yeah.
And as we briefly talked about, your visa came with an AIMA appointment attached.
We got very lucky.
Yeah. I don't think that's, I think that's rare, actually. I mean, mine did too. I had that appointment. So, how long? So you got your passport. You now have your D7 visa in there. You head over to Portugal. Now you can be here, and so now you're here. How long between that time and when your AIMA appointment was? What was that window like?
It was middle of January when we got our passports back in the U.S. with our visas in it. Then I think it's February 12th was the day that we had our AIMA appointment. And again,
oh my gosh, that was so quick.
You got to remember, this is back early 2024, and it's very different now, or the experiences seem to be, I'll just say. Here's the thing though, and a lot of families will go through this and have experienced this. They are not very discerning about family unit when it comes to AIMA appointments. He was scheduled for the same day and time as me in a completely different place. I had to take a bus from Porto to Bragança, which was almost to Spain, for my appointment. And he had to take a train north to Viana do Castelo, which is one of the most beautiful places we've ever been. But that's a sidebar. Everything went fine with that, though. I mean, again, I think it was February 12th, and I want to say within 10 days.
You got yours within a week.
Yours was more like 2 weeks.
Like maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Again, very different from now.
Yeah. But the actual process for when I was in the office at Vienna, didn't take long. Once you're in the queue and you're called through by the security guard and go and sit at that desk and speak to that person, and just very very programmed. Okay, I need this, I need that, I need the next. The only thing that bothered me a little bit about it was we were in the process of moving from our very first apartment to our next apartment, and some of the documentation had different addresses, but they would only put the address of our first apartment. So my current residency card has the first place we've lived in. We've not been able to update it in the AIMA systems, as everybody's probably aware of. It's a little bit difficult. So, Meredith, when she had hers, the person there would update it to our new apartment. It's kind of
this is the bureaucracy of Portugal, though, and I know. I don't want to come across as smack talking, but it is challenging. They are offices will operate differently. It depends on the person you get, and I know that is frustrating to hear, but it is how it goes sometimes. So.
It does. So at the AIMA meeting, so you were saying earlier that you were a little nervous about your VFS meeting. I'm more nervous actually about my upcoming AIMA meeting than I am about the VFS meeting.
You don't?
No, I don't need to.
I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Really, the thing about the AIMA appointment, I think the only thing that we had to bring differently than what you had to bring in the VFS appointment was updated bank statements.
Right. Yep.
Because everything you had before is too outdated, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, that was the only difference. And I remember thinking, I was so stressed about this follow-up AIMA appointment, and it was easier than the VFS appointment.
Okay.
It wasn't a non-event.
Yeah, there's a bit of non-event, he says.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know. Thank you. And then how long did it take you from your AIMA appointment, the big question, to get your residency permit card?
A week.
Yeah, a week for
what?
You. About 3 weeks for me.
Oh my gosh.
We got lucky, Bob. We really did.
Yeah.
I love your story.
Before all of this kind of craze happened. You know what I mean? I think we were right on the cusp of like the backup log of them trying to get residency renewals done and the changeover with AIMA, all that other stuff. I think we just got in right under that wire. So,
but equally,
and did it just turn AIMA when you went there, or was it CEF?
Oh, good question.
It was during I think it was October 1st that they changed over. So we had our appointment for VFS September 24th. And I think within that week was the official, maybe it was October into November, like October 31st was the last day of CEF. And then it became AIMA November. So that actually happened during our waiting for our initial visa. And that was another reason we were like, oh my God, are we going to get caught up in this? Are we going to, but I still think that we got under the wire of, I think all of our stuff got processed in a way that was kind of before all of the
confusion.
Yeah. Well, there's just a big backlog, and everybody, as you said earlier, this is one of the most popular countries to retire to or to come to. So, I guess they're doing the best they can with the systems they have. So you just gotta kind of roll with that. And so much. And as I was saying, my AIMA appointment was postponed, so I've yet to go through it. One of the things that I've heard people talk about is the delivery of the residency permit card itself. Okay. So did it come, does the CTT or the Postal Service actually call you? Do you have to sign for it, or how does that?
So CTT deliver it. They don't let you know that they're coming. It's just regular postal service. So it's just an envelope being delivered, but you have to be there to sign for it.
Okay.
So we were very lucky. And I think for Meredith, it was absolute pure luck. The postman just put it in the letterbox, didn't ask for a signature or anything like that. So she was very lucky. When mine was delivered, I wasn't there, we weren't there. So we got sent back to a post office where I immediately ran down the road and with my piece of paper saying, "I'm here to pick up this."
Yes.
And so we were, again, very lucky on that. That whole CCT thing, the problem is you don't know when to expect it. So you don't know when to be looking out for Mr. Postman or in your letterbox.
Yeah.
And so again, that's a very, very large moving target.
Yeah.
Right.
I did read where at the AIMA appointment, you can ask for a tracking number. Have you heard that?
I've not heard of that.
But maybe that's one of the improvements that they've made. That's
I
awesome.
mean, that would be amazing.
I would be tracking that every 5 seconds.
I mean, now it's not taking a week or two. I mean, now it's taking, at least from the people I talk to. I mean, I've had people that have been waiting months and months and months, maybe even over a year. I mean, so I'm hoping that there's a way. I mean, because you can't be at home every day to be waiting for the postman. So,
and also the restriction of not being able to travel, closes that travel window down.
Yeah,
massively.
Exactly, that too. All right, so you have your residency permit cards.
Yep.
Good for 2 years. Yeah, and then you renew for 3, at least right now anyway. That's what the rules are. So you're set. I am so jealous and so happy for you, though.
It'll be your time soon.
Yeah.
It sounds like your life is incredibly wonderful and very settled, and your journey has just been inspiring for me to hear, and I'm sure inspiring for other people to hear. Can you tell us where people can find you? I know you do consultations, so go over the rundown of where on social media, where you are and where we can find you.
Well, the first thing that we're focused on is, Portugal Junkies. And when I say Portugal Junkies, the travel guru of this couple is this one over here. He loves to plan logistics and travel, and I am always benefiting from that as his wife. But we are currently helping people create customized itineraries for their travels in Portugal, whether they are traveling for leisure or they're traveling to scout, which I think is probably one of the coolest things we do, because we've experienced that and we have traveled a lot in the country. So we have a different lens to it. So Mark does that. And we also, like you said, we offer consultations. And honestly, I was telling you earlier, our consultations are not necessarily about like helping you get your visa, because we stay away from that because the changes are too fast and too swift and too complicated sometimes. We're happy to we look at it like when you have questions like you want to ask your buddy who moved to Portugal, that's when you can call us, and we'll tell you everything that we know and our experiences, and we'll even share our experiences about our visa. But like that was 2 years ago. Like, some of it is relevant and some of it, things have changed a lot. So we are present on our Stan store, which is stan.store/Portugal Junkies. You can see everything we do right there. That'll link you to our website, our Substack, all that. We do a blog on Substack, same handle. And then our YouTube channel, we're doing some more travel content, but in the past, it's really just been about our podcast, which is Portugal Junkies podcast. And we just completed 50 episodes.
Wow. And that's such a great name. Well, I like the name.
I love the name too. It's fun. We did a lot of thought about that, but I think it's kind of like our style, where it's like, we are casual and we're real and we share the good, bad, and ugly on the podcast, because we just can't be anything else, honestly. But yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
All right. I will put all of this information in the show notes so that people can follow you. Meredith and Mark, it's really been awesome. And thank you both for sharing your story and helping others make this leap over here to Portugal. And again, for everyone listening, you can find Meredith and Mark at portugaljunkies.com and on YouTube, Substack. And we'll give them all that information. So give them a follow. And if you're planning to move here or just want to take a trip here, they are the real deal.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bob. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Hey, thanks for listening to Life Abroad in Portugal. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a quick review, tap some stars, or just reach out and say hello. You can also find more at lifeabroadinportugal.com, including details on my monthly meetups here in Porto and how to book a one-on-one consultation if you're planning to move. All the links are in the episode notes, and I really appreciate you being here.